Hold on.
Don't tell me. Hi everyone, thank you for joining us again today. It's quite a special moment when we get to do these because this is a wonderful time that we
Hi
are able
everyone,
to connect
thank
with
you
you.
for joining us again
And
today.
okay, one of the things, first let's start off, what is our topic today? It is very simply how are royalties calculated. This is one of the things that we are often asked because a lot of our members would receive either a distribution or even not receive a distribution, and wonder between that say, but how did you guys get to this specific number? So what I'm going to do today is just simply walk you through how we get to that royalty, but at the same time, provide you with the way forward so that you are able to, further discern, to say, okay, fine, how much should I expect to be paid as your songs are played on radio? So let's start with it, and then obviously at the end we will obviously take a few questions so that we can try and make this particular learning session as useful as possible. Now let's start firstly with the basics. The first thing is that we often say there is a delay in the distribution. I think before we talk about how our royalty is calculated, we need to understand which period are we paying for, because if you miss that, you would make the incorrect calculation as well later on. So simply, we pay, there's always a delay, let's say give or take of about a year. So for example, the royalties that we have just paid right now, like in the month of March for TV and the month of Feb for radio, those royalties are for what we call the usage period of July 1st of July 2019 up to the end of June, I think it's the 30th of June 2020. So that's the period. So all that happens is that every single, obviously the 1st of July, we just move up 1 year. So that's how we see our usage period. So meaning there will always be that delay. So when you get your royalties, we are paying for that specific period. It will always be from the 1st of July to the following year, obviously the end of June. That's the logic that you have. So once you get that, then you understand, okay, how this thing works. Now let's firstly deal with where do the royalties come from, because before you get to how do we calculate, where do we get this money, So simply put, Samro, similar to other societies, would license broadcasters or users of music. So these would be businesses that use your music in their course of doing business. So because your music provides value to them, they are then willing to then obviously share in terms of that their earnings to make sure that you get a share of this license fee as royalties, because the whole idea is for you to obviously continue creating music. So with that being said, Samro would go to let's say the big licensees, typically your SABC, your MultiChoice, your even private radio stations, as well as your big department stores, your Pick and Pay, Checkers, Woolworths, the likes. So we would go and license those, and this includes everyone, restaurants, any person that uses music in that business. So our focus is license them, and then once you collect that revenue, now it goes through a certain process before we can even pay you. Now, we have what we call our distribution rules on our website. So if you go to our website and then you click on About and you scroll all the way to the bottom, we have our distribution rules. So this section that I'm just going to go through as to how we get to the last item, because there's obviously costs to us firstly distributing, there's revenue, and then I'm just going to read you out very quickly what are the things that we take out or we put back in before we get to this value that we say, oh, now we're going to distribute, right? And then we will talk about how we calculate it once we have that value. So Samro goes out, we get licenses paid up from the respective licensees. This is called the gross license revenue. And then from that number, then we take out administrative expenses. What are these? These would be all the expenses related to obviously then processing these licenses to royalties. So this would include, everything from the building to obviously the resources used, be it the staff and all the software, anything that links to that. So those would be the administrative expenses. However, you will notice that there's something else that we add back. So meaning now we're not taking away money, we add that back. What we add